Hi, this is Dick Gail. This is episode number 7. My journey with Roy Liberto and the Dixieland Band into the wonderful world of bebop and electronics is all coming up. I'm still with Liberto and the band, Roy Liberto and the Bourbon Street All-Stars. We're still playing in Cleveland, and we've been there for 3 weeks, and I've been going up on Euclid Avenue and playing, and I've been working on Saturday and Sundays. My day off with the Dixieland Band, I've been playing bebop and with organ trios, and the band was getting ready to leave town, and we were going to New York City. So I was excited to go to New York, and we were going to the Metropole of all places, the home of Gene Krupa and Buddy Rich, and I couldn't wait to get there. So we loaded up all the instruments. I drove the truck to New York. The rest of the guys took a plane, and we took a break. I think there was a week or two in between. They went down and visited with the families, and then we were all to meet in New York. We were staying at the Plymouth Hotel, and we opened up at the Metropole, and we went in the afternoon to set up, and then found out, that's when I found out there was a set of drums up on the stage. And they had a band that played in the afternoon. And it was Tony Parenti on clarinet, who then was in his 70s, I think. Dick Gail, one of the greatest Dixieland piano players in the world, but he played a lot of other stuff. And they had a young, brand new drummer with him named Roy Burns. Red-headed kid, skinny, the greatest set of hands I had ever seen on a drummer up until that time. And so we were going to alternate with them at night. There came a time, I think we came in, we started playing at 6 or 7. So they played their second last set, and then we went up. And then they played their last set, we went back up. And then we took a break and went back up. So I think we did 3 sets, and we did 2 sets alternating with them. Well, Jesus Christ, this Roy Burns, man, they were playing When the Saints Go Marching In or something like that, and the tempo was up here. And when we went up, we had to slow it down to about here to make it swing. Well, that's where Roy Liberto wanted it anyways. But I'm glad I didn't have to play it at the tempo they were playing it at, because this thing was at the moon. And Roy Burns made it sound so easy. And I was scared to death. Well, you know, drummers, man, you know, there are good drummers, which I always consider myself, and then there are great drummers, and then there are phenomenons. And Roy Burns was a phenomenon, as was Belson and Buddy Rich and Joe Dukes and you know, all the cats that worked with Jack McDuff and Lloyd Price and Bobby Durham and all them cats. Those drummers come along once in a lifetime, and it's a good thing, because if a lot of drummers were like that, you know, then drummers like me would definitely not be able to have been playing for a living. Thank God there were only a few of them. Well, Roy Burns was one of those drummers. He was something to watch. He wrote a book about finger control. He did more stuff with his left hand than most cats could do with both hands, and he had all that single sticking down. And he wrote a book with Lou Mallon called Finger Control. That was Roy Burns. He is now the president of Aquarian Drum Company, and to this day we're friends. And it was a funny thing, I met him at NAMM about 15 years ago, the first time I went, and I heard he was here, and I went looking for him, and I found out that he owned his own company now. He originally picked up the Buddy Rich spot with Rogers drums. When Buddy dropped Rogers, they picked up Roy Burns. That's how bad he was. And then Roy started his own company called Aquarian Drumheads. So when I got a chance to see him at the show, and I told him, I admitted to him, I said, you know, I was so afraid of you. I said, because you were so much better drummer. And he laughed at me, and he gave me a big hug, and he said, you know, he said, when I heard you play, I thought you were one of those cats from New York. He said, they'd have been there forever. He said, I was so scared of you, he said, and I just laughed. I thought that was funny. You know. So, and we've been friends ever since. And I, to this day, I consider him in that same roster with Gene and Buddy Rich and all of those great cats. So here we are in New York, and here I am up on the same stage, and I can't wait to see who's going to walk in. And I was holding my breath, and in they walked, all of them. I became friends with Sonny Greer, Panama Francis. They brought in Cozy Cole to play in the daytime after Tony Parenti left. So we played opposite Cozy Cole and his band when he had a hit record out called Topsy. And when that record was hot, he was in New York. So crowds came in to see him, and then we opened up, we alternated with them. I became real close friends with George Wetling and Barrett Deems, who is one of the funniest people in the world and a great, great, great drummer. And him and Buddy Rich had a great dislike going for each other. I don't know if I could say dislike as much as they had a light war going on, because Barrett Deems always said he could kick Buddy Rich's ass any day he wanted to because he was faster. And you know something? To some degree, Barrett Deems was faster. And I saw them both play. Buddy Rich came in with his arrogant self, but he was a nice cat. Just a lot of that is protection, I think. And then I got a chance to play with Henry Red Allen there. Then they brought in Chico Hamilton and the band upstairs, and they brought in Cannonball Adderley and his band upstairs. So I got to meet all these cats. And then at night after we got done playing, we go across the street to the it was the Copper Kettle, I think was the name of it, and all the drummers would be in there, and you had all their pictures and names up on the wall, and I was in the mix. It was just unbelievable place for me to be. It was unreal. George Wetling even gave me a key that belongs to him. I'll show it to you in a second. Anyway, this is the album of Roy Liberto and the Bourbon Street All-Stars. This is the only album we made. And there's a funny story that goes with this, and I'll tell you on the next version.